Thank you, and welcome to the Wolfeboro Exchange. Every time I watch that intro, it inspires me. We're having some fun here today at the studio, so getting this thing ready for today, and it's been it's fun, and that intro is a great intro. It really is a credit to the people here at Wolfeboro Community TV for putting that together because it's fun. I look at myself, and I hate watching myself, as I always said on TV. So I never actually watched a meeting until I was off all these boards. So now I get to watch myself, and it's weird, but I'm getting used to it. So, anyways, we had a busy month in June. The last episode we covered the June Selectmen's meeting. Discussed a lot of stuff in that. You're gonna get a chance. Go back and watch that. You know, it covers the DOT proposed roundabouts here in town, and a couple other issues that are pressing and really important to Wolfeboro. In this episode, I'm going to cover both the June zoning board and the planning board meetings. So let me set the stage to say. We'll start off with the June 3rd zoning board meeting. There was one applicant that night, and it was for a special exception. So most cases that come before the zoning board are either a special exception, which basically is what I'm saying, special exception to a rule, let's just say, is the easiest way to understand that. It's the lesser of the two burdens when, as an applicant, to get through the process. The other reason why people come to the zoning board is for a variance. A variance is usually tougher criteria to meet for an applicant. So this was for a special exception, and I'll give you a little bit of back info on what the applicant was looking for. Basically, applicant from a neighboring town looking to move here to Wolfeboro, purchased a piece of property that was basically didn't have any road frontage. So for that, you would need a special exception in our zoning. So I'm going to kick it right off, and we'll start with the first clip, and then I'll give you a little bit more insight on it.
The other thing that always was typically done when these things are about to expire, whether it be a variance or a special exception, when the 2 years is about to expire, it's on the computer. It should pop up like maybe 30 days before. Mm-hmm. And Hausman used to have, because I asked him once, how the heck do you know? You get so many cases that are approved out there. How do you know which ones are coming up for expiration in 2 years? He says, because I put it in my computer when it's approved, and then it will pop up when it's
a tickle file.
Time to take action. Yeah. So do you have that now, or did you not get that when you came on?
That's not something the town is responsible for doing. It's up to the property owner.
That's not her question. I understand that legally the town doesn't have to do
So
that. It's
let
a matter
me
of service.
rephrase it for you. No, there is no statutory requirement to remind applicants of their
So
approval.
again, we know that. It's not the town's legal responsibility. The question is, it's a service item. And an item that's set up in order for things to run smoothly. It's not a legal requirement. Was your question, was it a legal requirement, or do you
No,
have
that
that
wasn't
system?
my question. My question was, do we have it in the system? It always used to be in the system. It was in the system.
And so the answer is no.
No, there is no, we don't
Okay.
create records that are not required, correct?
No, we didn't ask for the second part. Can you just say yes or no? Do you have that tickle system
Yes, I
set up?
can.
Do you have that tickle system set up? No. Okay, fine. Thank you.
So two things, because this is a great clip. One, because it kind of highlights some of the dynamics going on the zoning board with the personnel and staff, okay? And two, let me just give you a little bit more information about this actual case. So when a person comes in and applies for either a variance or a special exception, and they're granted one, and this piece of land was granted a special exception back in the day. That special exception stays with the property, doesn't go with the owner. So in a transfer or something like that, it potentially goes with the property, okay? Now, certain criteria in the original special exception was never met, okay? And that's why this applicant who purchased this new piece of property is before this board, okay? Suzanne Ryan was kind of speaking there in the beginning about this tickle file, comparing a former town planner, Rob Hausman, to today's town planner in Wolfeboro, Tavis Austin. So you have that going on. So that service she is talking about was that Rob used to go in and set a reminder in his, let's say Outlook, okay? And he would set a reminder in 2 years, applicant X is supposed to have these 5 conditions met and have responded to the town of Wolfeboro. Well, that's all great. And as Tavis brought up, it's not an actual requirement of town government to do that, one. And two, there's a vast amount of cases in any town. Those things would be coming up every single day for reminders. Two is what I really wanted to highlight in this clip is the interaction between elected officials and the town employee, Tavis Austin. And the highlighted is the animosity that's kind of going on this board towards the town staff. You can see at the end of that clip there, Tavis didn't answer the question the way that Audrey Klein wanted him to. So she kind of went back and said, no, I want you to answer it yes or no. Well, Tavis isn't on trial, and this isn't a court of law. So it's an interesting dynamic, and it makes it, we're going to play out some more videos here and more clips, and you'll see a little bit more of the interaction, and it gives you kind of a feel of, how the board dynamics are. And so we're going to go to the next clip right now, and I'll give you some comments.
The thing that I'm confused about is I just received another tax bill, and it's like a buildable lot that I'm getting my tax bills and I'm paying them, and I just gave a check to the water department for $6,000. That was cashed. We're all ready to go. My guy's ready to start June 10th. I got everything lined up, and so that's where the confusion is. It's like the check has been cashed, the water department's ready to go, the septic, I have everybody, and I just got my tax bill. So if it's not a buildable lot, I'm confused. Why would I get a tax bill?
Because
can't
you're
answer
listed
that.
as the owner, most likely.
Pardon me?
Because you're listed as the owner, most likely.
Okay, but if it's not a buildable lot, I would get a tax bill for a non-buildable lot?
So that clip, so basically the applicant is stating that one of the reasons why they should be allowed to build on this given lot is because, one, they get a tax bill on. Everyone gets a tax bill on a piece of property in Wolfeboro, regardless of whether it's a buildable lot, non-buildable lot. There's a tax bill associated with every single parcel in Wolfeboro that's not under a nonprofit or something like that. So everyone gets a tax bill. So it comes to due diligence. This applicant purchased a piece of property here in Wolfeboro, and it was a piece of property that had some attachments to it, which were former special exceptions. Basically, there was no road access to it. So she's kind of, at this point, it's kind of like throw yourself on the mercy of the board, which in some cases is not the best approach, but in this case it eventually does work out. But I want to highlight this clip kind of piggybacks with the third clip, and so we're going to go right to that, and then we'll wrap this one up.
Yep, we don't disagree with you. I mean, I think the law requires the owner to know everything about their lot, but, the town assists as much as possible. And, oh, yeah, thank you.
Who is your realtor?
My realtor?
do we have to
Oh, boy, it was, actually, I had to fire her. We did work together, and she gave me this small piece of paper, and then I had to do all my own work myself.
I was
came
looking
in-
for a name.
What was her name?
Yes. Or the company.
It was Roche Realty, and I did let her go. Because she came in with just a faded piece of paper, and I said, I can't make a decision. I can't sell my house. I have to make sure this is a buildable lot.
So, I mean, one, are you kidding me? Like, clearly you're throwing yourself at the mercy of the board, but clearly you had knowledge that there was something potentially wrong with this lot if you fired your realtor. So it is, expectation is you're buying a piece of property. you probably need to do a little bit of research yourself. One. Two, the realtor's trying to sell the property. They can only dig so far and go so far in looking at stuff. Three, the town will do what they can to assist you, but there's a lot of other things on the town's plate at any given time. Four, it's funny that the board is asking who the realtor is. Like that really matters. Like in this whole discussion, who the realtor is and who the real estate company is. I would say it's typical, but it has happened so many times. I took these 3 clips because I really wanted to highlight how some of these meetings are really conducted. And most people don't want to spend an hour and a half watching a zoning board meeting. If you're ever lucky enough or maybe unlucky enough to actually be an applicant before one of these boards, you get a education very quickly. So, but having sat on the board for 6 years, I feel people's frustration. I feel the process could be made a lot smoother, and I feel that ultimately, how we communicate with the public and how we treat the public and how we treat staff goes a long way when we're looking at any of these issues. So that kind of wraps up that meeting. It was only one case. That applicant was eventually granted the approval and will be with the criteria basically set forth in the prior special exception that was granted years ago, and we'll be able to move forward with building. They needed to get a DOT road study, not a study, but DOT road approval. So anytime a building lot with no road frontage needs to be done on a state road, you got to go before DOT as well. So tonight there's a ZBA meeting which is going to be a rehearing for it's a petitioned rehearing for 71 North Main Street. Now, 71 North Main Street is the property directly across from both Merritt Village Savings Bank, kind of that, and the entrance to the Wolfeboro Corinthian Yacht Club. This was a project that was held up this summer after the original building permit was issued, and then it was pulled. And now the project is underway, foundation's been poured, and the beginning parts of construction are actually happening. So this is a request for a rehearing of an appeal to the actual building permit. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out tonight. So that's at the Great Hall tonight, 7 p.m., and it's the only case on the schedule. So, we'll be obviously reporting back to you on that in the next month. So the planning board also met the following day, and short-term rentals, it's kind of like one of those words that is, gives some people anxiety and it gives other people, everyone loves a short-term rental when you're going somewhere and traveling. When you live in a resort town, there's a lot of people that have, get a lot of angst when it comes to short-term rentals. So the planning board has met, and they set up a committee about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and discussed short-term rentals. They're once again re-looking at that. There's been other towns in the state, namely 2 of our closest neighbors. Conway has been challenged on it in court, and it's kind of in a weird area right now. Ossipee recently enacted some new regulations for short-term rentals, and Alton has also enacted some new rules for short-term rentals. Whether or not those rules are going to be tested in the near future in court, there's rumblings that Alton, which has a fair amount of Airbnbs currently in place, if there's going to be some challenges to the regulations that Alton's put into effect. And when you're talking about regulations, it's always one of those things where you got to balance. Wolfeboro, as a summer resort, relies on tourists, and for forever, you've had real estate companies that have run people who own lake houses will rent their house for 2-3 weeks of the year in order to offset property taxes and the enormous tax bills they pay living on the lakefront. and two, because they're not always at the property, so it's a revenue source for them as well. So, and then with the new environment of the Airbnb, where you have not necessarily the lakefront owner, but the investor that comes to the area, buys up a bunch of properties and turns them into Airbnbs, and they're kind of referred to as like an absentee landlord in some senses. I think that's where a lot of the angst is with people living in the communities where you have an Airbnb pop up next to you, and the next thing you know, there's every given weekend there's a different crowd of 5, 10, 15 people staying in the house next to you, and how do you deal with that? And I think Wolfeboro and the planning board's trying to navigate that, and they're re-looking at it again. So I want to go to the one clip that we have on the planning board one, and then I'll talk some more.
So if the attorney ends up saying, well, Alton will be challenged, don't we at least want to have something in place to be challenged instead of just riding down this road that we're on?
I think we want to have what has the best chance of being sustained. Just because the town is getting its ordinance appealed, that isn't a legal basis. You don't know whether they're going to be successful or not, and that's not a legal basis for not proceeding. But we're trying to get, so we have the best chance of having what we do.
Yeah, so it's a complicated issue, and you obviously have there's groups on both sides, but it's also it's a large revenue stream, and whenever there's a large revenue stream that is potentially going to be looking at regulations, there's going to definitely be people chirping in on both sides. You have real estate companies and people that have invested a lot of money here buying properties and turning them into Airbnbs, and they're going to certainly voice their opinion. So how do you navigate it? Where a lot of the problems occur with Airbnbs are in larger communities where you have a group of people that come in that are 5, 10 people, and they're loud and boisterous, and and the neighbors have a problem with them. Fortunately for us, we have a fantastic police department. So a lot of the regulations and a lot of the problems you see in Airbnbs are in cities where there's a lot going on. There's major crime going on, and there's other things going on. So calls for noise complaints and things like that, often are left to the last. And we're lucky that in a small community like Wolfeboro, where we do have a robust police department, they can kind of handle a lot of these things that and take care of a lot of these problems that do pop up with Airbnbs. So you're not going to see as much, I think, here, but it's good to be talking about it because it is a growing concern, and I think there's going to be a lot more discussion on it in the near future. I think the planning board is definitely looking to hone in on what they're going to look at for possible regulations and rules. They're going to probably seek out some more discussion. Maybe bring some more people in on an ad hoc committee to look at it again and kind of formulate an idea, and then bring it back to the whole planning board. And ultimately, it'll probably go up for a town vote, as most things that are will impact the town probably should. So planning board meeting this Tuesday night. It's going to be at 7 p.m. at the Great Hall. It's a pretty simple case. It's a boundary line adjustment between two existing properties at 10 Village Corner in Wolfeboro. So those were the two meetings that I kind of wanted to cover for the viewers. And July 4th week, get the Wolfeboro Parade, 10 a.m. On Thursday. Wolfeboro Community TV will be down there broadcasting live for the parade. Lots of activities going on this week in town. Feel free to check out the Wolfeboro Chamber website for more details. Firework times, if there's a rain delay, a rain date, lots of other activities around that 4th of July parade that'll be going on all day long here in Wolfeboro. Plan ahead. Town's going to be crowded. There'll be a parking ban in the morning, Thursday morning. So plan on that. If you're going to get into town to do some shopping or whatever, just be cognizant if the street's empty, there's probably a parking ban, so you might get towed. But get out there and enjoy it. And I always kind of have a little, my routine, people always talk about routines on July 4th. I have a routine on Memorial Day, but July 4th, normally I do the parade, but this year, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll just be a viewer of the parade. I'm going to probably get up early. I always watch The Patriot, have a couple of Bloody Marys in the morning, and, really kind of take the whole 4th experience in with, maybe some fireworks, of course, safely, and there's a ban on fireworks in Wolfeboro, FYI. But, fireworks maybe outside the town of Wolfeboro. Be out there, enjoy the day, do it responsibly, be safe. The lake will be busy, and so practice good boating skills. And look forward to seeing you again at the Wolfeboro Exchange. Be kind.